3, 2, 1. Welcome to Tech Talks. My name is Michael Bertoni, and I'm the founder and CEO of PhillyTech, and your most connected technologist. I am so excited today. I have one of my best clients, Matt Kowalczyk from EXIT83. He's the founder and CEO. Matt, it's great to see you.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here, Mike. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, so Matt, it is so awesome to have you here in Philadelphia. So Matt came in yesterday. We went to Del Frisco's. It was an unbelievable dinner. Matt is a foodie, loves wine,
Yeah.
and it was an unbelievable trip. So Matt, thanks a lot for coming in.
Yeah, so I'm out here all the way from Seattle, long flight.
Yeah, so Matt, tell the audience a little bit about your backstory. So
Sure.
what did you do before EXIT83? What was that all about? And let's get into it.
Sure. So so I'm an engineer by trade. I used to be a developer, wrote a lot of code, got hired to come and work for Microsoft right out of school, and worked at Microsoft as an engineer from 1993 to about 2005, working on all kinds of first versions of products, and was very entrepreneurial while I was at Microsoft. Worked on interesting things from the first version of Age of Empires to other types of games to desktop databases to one of the very first internet products that Microsoft developed. And probably my biggest claim to fame is I was part of the founding team of the tablet PC. And I was fortunate enough to actually pitch that to Bill Gates, me and 4 of my colleagues back in 2000. It was a very interesting time to be at Microsoft, and working directly for Bill was one of those things that you don't ever really forget. After Microsoft, I decided to go and be an entrepreneur. I did my first startup, and like every good entrepreneur, their first startup usually fails. Mine failed after about 3 years, and for the last couple months of the startup's life, I was actually trying to do payroll and ran out of money, and I had to do payroll directly from my credit cards.
Nice.
And it was horrible.
Yeah.
And so over 3 months, I did the payroll for my entire company off my credit cards, had a ton of debt. And so when the company finally went under and my wife made me, it's like, we're going to be in debt forever if you don't get rid of this company, I decided to do some consulting to make some money really quick. And as the entrepreneur that I am, I went out and became a consultant, and I was on a gig, and I saw about 15 other consultants, and we all worked for one person. And I realized the person who was making the most money here was not us, the consultants, but the guy that brought us in. And right then and there, I created EXIT83 and decided I'm going to run a consulting company. About 8 months later, I was completely out of debt. I had about 5 people already working for me, and that company is what I run today, and I've been running it for 15 years. Now, alongside running EXIT83, I've also been a startup entrepreneur, and I've done about 11 different startups at this point. I seriously lose count, and I've been an executive at about 4 other startup ventures as well. Mm-hmm. I've raised a bunch of money in the past. I've had a couple successful exits. Some were really fun. I've had some spectacular failures, which are great learning experiences. And if you haven't had a failure in this space, then you're not really trying. About 3 years ago, I decided that I had to dial down my startup experience and my startup journey. And I went ahead and became very intentional about EXIT83. And it was about the same time I ran into Mike here, and I decided I was going to focus on this 100% of my time and build this company to be bigger than any other startup that I've done. And to date, it's been like that. And with Mike's company's help, PhillyTech's help, we've been able to create a part of our company that lives and works out of Latin America and South America. So it's been a great journey to date, and we've been able to build some incredible products along the way.
Yeah, so I have to tell everybody, Matt is, a real startup expert, a real technology expert, a technologist, And just it's been unbelievable working with him in terms of his expertise in tech startups, funding, and also development. You have a really unique skill set, Matt. I've always said that to everybody. And so tell us a little bit about EXIT83. So what is EXIT83 all about? What do you do? What are the core services you provide?
Great. Yeah, of course. So like I said, EXIT83 has been around 15 years. We, in the past, have done just custom software development and have done a little bit of managed staffing, and it didn't really have a focus. We've had some focuses in the past, foci in the past. One was on mobile and tablet, given my tablet PC background. Then we helped work our way into cloud computing. Most recently, we had a focus on IoT. Today, we're focusing on everything Microsoft. So we focus on building products, platforms, technologies that live on top of the Microsoft stack. My company recently became a Microsoft CSP. That's a cloud service provider, which means we could sell Microsoft products. And we will soon be a Microsoft vendor as well. That means we can do work inside the company. As well as also being a silver partner of Microsoft with a whole bunch of people who've been certified. So with that, we have about 30 plus years experience in the Microsoft ecosystem. So that's developing things in C#, .NET, on top of Azure, and so on and so forth. Now, there is me, and I have two other principals at the company who are also ex-Microsoft employees. And they have spent many years helping to develop Microsoft products as well. And so the three of us have just this incredible history of developing software the way that we were taught back in the day. Now, what we've tried to do is bring that learning and that experience to software that we're building for clients. So our model today, besides being focused on the Microsoft tech stack. Now, we do plenty of work that isn't in the Microsoft stack. It's just we have a focus there. Right. We try to do work in that space because that's our sweet spot, and we do very well with that. But we also do work in other spaces too. So we develop custom software through managed projects. And typically what that means, and that's a fancy way of saying we become the tech arm or the engineering team for a small or medium-sized business that is looking to create a platform product thing. A lot of times it's a mobile app tied to a website, a web app, which is tied to a back end, usually built on top of Azure. And we take them through the entire SDLC in order to get that created. So that's one aspect of what we do. The second aspect we do is managed staffing. With managed staffing, we provide an extension of a company's engineering team by providing our own engineers to help that engineering team be successful. Now, the secret ingredient to all of this is something that Mike's team, PhillyTech, helped build, which was creating a part of the team is actually in, as I said earlier, Latin and South America. And what's really amazing about having people working for us in Latin and South America is that the time zones are very friendly. These people are very smart. They can be part of our daily stand-ups. They can be part of our daily meetings. Turnaround time for any issue is minutes or an hour, instead of working with people on the other side of the world where turnaround time could be a day and a half on any major issues. So it gives us a highly competitive advantage. And what we end up doing is working and manage project teams. We take some of this great experience that I have and our other principals have at Microsoft. From Microsoft, we bring that in as architects on a project, and we help manage the project. And then we bring in our great engineers from South America to help create this hybrid team of people from North America and South America to execute on a platform or a product.
Yeah, it's really unbelievable. I mean, just you talked about a lot of things there, Matt, but what I'd love to understand just from your perspective again, what do you feel is the main differentiators of EXIT83, the main value proposition? What are those core things?
Yeah, so one of the things that's really important that I mentioned earlier was the focus on Microsoft technologies and the experience of how to do software and build software the right way the first time, and how to build enterprise software the right way the first time. What we've seen in the past is, in fact, we have a project we're doing cleanup work on right now where an offshore group came in, excuse me, built a platform, but didn't build it for the enterprise. And so it wasn't multi-tenant. It didn't have a great CI/CD process. And it did not have a great way to do version control and check-ins and like just very standard things that you need when you're have a professional dev organization building enterprise products. And so we have this great experience building enterprise products. And we also, again, we have the other differentiator. Again, I can't stress enough how amazing it is to have these uber smart people in South America just crushing it for us. We have about 30 plus people working for us right now in South America, and I love it.
Yeah, it's an amazing story. I mean, so I met Matt a few years ago, and he came to me and he said, I'd like to build a team in Latin America and in Colombia, and we were able to partner together. And it is truly unbelievable what we've been able to accomplish in such a short time. It's been unbelievable. Yeah. So, I mean, we now have 30 plus people, and the things that we're able to do for companies in terms of helping them find talent is unbelievable in terms of the speed and what we've been able to do. So, Matt, again, appreciate the business. The partnership has been unbelievable.
Yeah, and we're fortunate enough. We have people. We're a 100% remote company, right? And we have people working for us in about 10 different countries. Including the Dominican Republic, Mexico, Ecuador, Costa Rica, Colombia, Chile, Argentina, Brazil, and I'm probably forgetting one, and I'm sure my team is going to let me know about which one that I forgot. But it's we've got people peppered all over Latin and South America.
The thing that's amazing, too, about Matt is he comes up with different ideas and frameworks, and he recently came up with one that I would love for you to tell a little bit about, Matt. It's called the Ecoverse. So there are some growth areas that Matt thinks are very strategic basically in the growth area of his company, but also in the industry. So tell us a little bit about that, Matt. What is the Ecoverse and what is that all about?
Yeah, so I think there's some additional backstory that's probably required here. So I spent about a year and a half because, I need more things to do and I have 3 kids and, I could always have an additional thing that I'm working on at the same time. I spent a year and a half as a venture partner for a VC firm out in New York City, evaluating crypto projects, crypto companies, different types of technologies in the crypto space. So I became quite familiar with everything that was being built, the technologies, the trends, and it was my job to be able to evaluate this technology. Well, most recently, I've been seeing how there's been some consolidation in the crypto world, and there's been a lot of talk about things like NFTs and how NFTs are going to be great for games and NFTs will be great on this. I had to learn about NFTs, so I started an NFT project, and it didn't really get anywhere, but I started this NFT project just so I could learn about the space. And once I did that, I got to understand the real value that you would find in things like non-fungible tokens as well as other types of cryptocurrencies. So with that, I recognized that there were some other trends happening in technology. The first of which is consolidation of services for various companies and access to those services through a unified way known as a super app. Now, in China, they have WeChat. WeChat is one of and probably the most well-known super apps where you can do everything from schedule a haircut to transfer money into your different bank accounts, all within a single app and without leaving the confines of their walled garden. And so what I think of is what's going to happen specifically in the West is going to be an extension of these walled gardens, which you're going to see. Now, you hear people talking about the metaverse this, metaverse that, and I tell you, the metaverse is a head fake, and it's way too early to do anything specific with the metaverse is who's going to wear these $2,000 glasses on their head for a couple hours in a day, and then when they're doing that and take them off, then they're going to have a headache. And who's going to spend $2,000 just to access a metaverse and see some real estate? Like, it really doesn't make sense for the masses. And the economics aren't there, the people aren't there, the technology isn't there. And you have Facebook spending $10 billion a year to build their metaverse, and nobody's going to join it. So what's going to happen most likely is something I've referred to as the Ecoverse. And the Ecoverse is essentially a walled garden that consolidates services, but for a very specific ecosystem. So that's why I call it the Ecoverse. So you could think of it, there's always going to be an aspect of things like productivity, services, social services, particular financial services, gaming services that will all be accessible through a single app interface, and will be able to, where the different services can interact with each other using some sort of transaction mechanism. I'm getting a little bit weedy, I know, but this is where it gets fun, so pay attention. So in this Ecoverse, and where you're going to see this, you're going to have a specific cryptocurrency that will be built specifically for this Ecoverse and will live inside of this Ecoverse. And that cryptocurrency will be one of the main ways that money will be handled between the services. With that, there will be NFTs that will live within each of these services. The NFTs that you see today, again, I stress, you have the artistic, really high-end art that's coming as NFTs, but you have this dumb stuff like Bored Apes being used as NFTs for hundreds of thousands of dollars that are going to be worth nothing in 2 years, just like Jack Dorsey's first tweet, which sold for $3.2 million, and now the guy's trying to resell it, can't get $1,000 for that tweet. Right. So that stuff is not going to exist, but utility behind an NFT is what's really going to exist. So you have this walled garden. In this walled garden, you have a super app. In the super app gives you access to all these services. The way you transact with the services is through the cryptocurrency built specifically for that walled garden. Why is that going to happen? Data. You can't really track and get good data from fiat currency today. But with cryptocurrency, you can get a whole ton of data about spending habits, advertising habits, that data is going to be so much more valuable than the way things are working today. So let me give you an example. So a great example might be Amazon. Amazon has about 12 different apps in the US Apple iOS App Store today. You have Prime Video, you have this, you have that, you have music, blah, 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 blah. All of that will be consolidated under a single super app that will give you access to all the services. With that, they also own 2 or 3 huge properties that are metaverses. Mm-hmm. Including, then they also own this great property we happen to be on right now, which is Twitch. Then they have access to retail services. They have a productivity set of services. They have, they don't have a social network yet, but you best believe they're on the market to buy one. And if I were a betting man, and I kind of am, I would bet that they will probably acquire Pinterest, and Pinterest will be part of their family of things. They also have brick and mortar services too, like Whole Foods. And so you're going to see that there will be a cryptocurrency that's going to be developed, probably a Prime coin, that will be used to transact between the super app and Whole Foods, the super app and Prime Video, the super app and Amazon Music. And you'll get a discount if you use that. Now, within that, you might have a coupon or a way that you can have access to, let's say, a special movie or a special experience that you can only get through Amazon services. That will be sold as an NFT. And the NFT will then have intrinsic value because there's utility behind it. And then I could take that utility and I could resell it to somebody else because it has value. And it's not just Amazon. Microsoft is doing this.
Yeah.
You can see Microsoft doing this with the Activision Blizzard acquisition with their metaverses. And then they have Office, and they have LinkedIn as the social network. So you could see a professional Ecoverse that would be a professional services Ecoverse that's there. Now, you might say, well, Matt, you're crazy for thinking of this, but it's already happening.
Right.
So Facebook, even though their metaverse thing is probably doomed to fail because they're overspending on it, they have created a cryptocurrency that's going to be used to transact between, or I'm sorry, it's not Facebook, it's Meta. So they have a cryptocurrency that's going to be used to transact between Facebook and Instagram that'll be used by advertisers and people who want to buy on the platform. As far as super apps go, Uber is already there. Uber allows you to buy, obviously, rides, scooter rides, bike rides. Now they're also going to allow you to book airline tickets. They also plane or bus travel, train, and they're also going to do concert tickets all within one single app. Oh, and for Uber Eats. So they already have 7 or 8 services that are in there, right? And you see what's happening with Elon Musk and Twitter. I'll tell you, there is going to be, once that deal is done, there's going to be a tie-in between Twitter and Tesla. And there's going to be something where you're part of this social network in this group that you're going to get special services. And Elon is already big into cryptocurrency, we know. And so there's going to be some sort of coin that they will develop that will be used in that Ecoverse as well. Sony as well is going to do this. The 2 people that will probably never get into this space, I'll eat my words if I'm wrong, I'm sure, will be Apple and Google or Alphabet, because they have no reason to be in it. They already have all of these apps, and they don't want to dilute what they already own, which is generating tons of money for them. So that's a very long explanation of what the Ecoverse is, and it's probably going to happen over the next 12 to 18 months. And you can see each one of these properties, each Ecoverse, face Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, Sony, Uber. They're going to have a social platform. They're going to have some retail. They're going to have other services that they're going to bundle together with its own cryptocurrency. So, in fact, I mean, Microsoft, if you look at their website, you'll see that they have job openings for people who have experience with cryptocurrency. And you know, Microsoft does nothing in the space right now, but they have all these job openings for it. It's going to happen. And other Microsofties, if they hear my words, if they don't call their coin a blibbit, I'm going to be highly, highly upset. Google it and you'll learn what a blibbit is. All right, so that's the Ecoverse.
You think he's passionate about the Ecoverse or what? I mean, so Matt, where does the passion come from? Right? I mean, so you just talked for about 10 minutes about the Ecoverse, right?
That's right.
You're super passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that Matt and I have in common is the passion. You just talked about this. Where does that passion come from, Matt? Like, so what do you think that's all stemming back to?
Well, I'm a long time nerd. So
love it.
For real, my first coding was done on a TRS-80 Model 3 in first grade. And I was taken aside because I had some interest in computers, and I was taught how to do programming when I was in first grade. And when I got into high school, in the underground network of kids, I got the master key for my school not so that I could steal stuff from the school. I just wanted to use the computer lab at any time of the day.
Right.
And then the people saw I was doing it. Then they had me build all the computer labs in the school. And I just got into this thing about technology. And I've always been super, super passionate about it from day one. I used to build computers for a living back when I was in grade school. So it's just one of those things. And I've built all these computer apps and games and things over the course of years. And just, I love doing it. I have the best job in the world.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's funny because when I have a lot of people come in here, there is a common thread of we're nerds, right? We like being nerds. You might not look at me and think nerd, but I'm a nerd. And so is Matt. And that's kind of the tie-in. We're super passionate about technology. My first class with Greg O'Brien, TRS-80, absolutely, it was in 8th grade. Same exact thing. We were building programs to actually turn the screen off as we were doing a test. We'd hit a button and the screen would go off. And then we'd be able to take the test better, right? So it was unbelievable. So Matt, want to ask you about our partnership, right? Again, Matt and I are partnered together. His company, EXIT83, my company, PhillyTech. It's been an exciting journey. But tell everybody a little bit about that. So what are we doing? So what are you doing? What are we doing? And how is that working?
Yeah, so it's working out very well. So PhillyTech is helping us to scale the business. And what I mean by that is both grow the business from the number of new clients that we have, as well as to help seed our engineering resources, and in this case, specifically in Latin and South America. And his team has been vital in doing the recruiting to help bring these people on board. And Mike's team has also been vital in finding new clients for us to build great software for. And so this partnership's gone on for about 2+ years at this point, and it's been the way that we've been able to create scale.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable, and it's been exciting working with you. And just today, we had an unbelievable meeting with a new potential client, and there's a lot more to come. So Matt, any closing remarks, right? Is there anything that you're looking for, anything in particular, any call to action, anything like that where we can wrap up?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So one of the things we're always looking for are fun and interesting projects where we can apply our technology experience, our nerdiness, and help provide a service to a small company or a medium-sized company to get their technology created. That's the one thing that we love doing. And so if you have an interesting project and you have some money, come find us at exit83.com, and we'll have a conversation and we'll talk about how my company can help you create scale.
Great. So Matt, it has been awesome doing the show with you. So Matt came all the way in from Seattle. And so thanks a lot for coming in, Matt. It's been awesome working with your company, and I'm excited about the future.
Well, it was a pleasure to be here, and thanks for the invitation. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Matt.
Take care. Thank you.
Money.